And it's good to hear someone, not even Somali, Ajanabi, someone that's non-Somali, going to Somalia and having a good time and putting all these myths to bed. If there's opportunities, business opportunities now, imagine 2 to 5 years when the flow of oil fills the economy.
I had recently visited Somalia, Mogadishu, and I kind of wanted to just talk about my experiences there, if it was safe, if it was safe, or how I felt being in Somalia, and really my impressions of the big city of Mogadishu. And the first things first that I wanted to talk about, the things that nobody told me about in Somalia, Mogadishu, was how big the city was. I had previously obviously been to Somaliland before, Hargeisa, and it is twice the size of Hargeisa. Like bro, I didn't know it was really that big. Like, it's a really big city. That was the first thing that I kind of underestimated, was how big the city was. Like, sometimes you'd be going and we'd be driving, and sometimes I'd be asking my friends, like, are we still in Mogadishu? And they said, yeah, we're still in Mogadishu, but we have been driving for at least 20 minutes and we were still in the city. Obviously you got different sector of the city. Obviously you have the old town of Mogadishu, which was there before, when the Italians were there and they colonized. So that was one thing I had to say about Somalia, Mogadishu, was like how it was just so big. I was just taken back by how big it was, so there's plenty of things to do there. The second thing was the safety. The safety of going around Somalia was just wow. And my time in Mogadishu was really surprising. I was shocked by the safety there. I felt really safe in Somalia, Mogadishu. I don't know if it's because I look Somali and a lot of people were talking to me.
Oh, the way it was going on, I thought it was going to say, I got attacked, I got ambushed, I got stabbed or whatever. Well, it's good to see that he's had good experiences in Somalia. And I think the safety of it is one thing that has a huge misconception. A lot of people think, Somalia, every day there's bombs being sent off left, right, centre. There's fights happening left, right, centre. There's guns fights happening left, right, centre. That's not the case. More time, especially if you ask the locals that are there, that have been there their entire lives. Of course, these things happen, but it's very, very rare that, an attack happens or some sort of... So I think the safety of Mogadishu has been heavily there's big misconception around it. So it's good to know, good to hear that a foreigner has...
and they thought I replied in English because that's all I can speak is English. So I think when going around in Somalia, that was kind of the one thing, like how safe it was. I was able to just walk, do what I want, just left to my own devices. Sometimes I had to realize, like, am I still in Somalia or am I just in another African city? Because you've heard so many things about Somalia, Mogadishu being so violent.
Look at those buildings, though.
Being very dangerous.
You would never have seen this 10 years ago.
They have all of these things to
15 years ago.
Into you. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say, danger.
Yeah, you would have definitely seen this 15 years ago.
Because obviously danger's everywhere. Obviously danger is there in Somalia. It can pop off at any time. Anything can go off, an explosion can go off. So I think obviously, to be honest, I was a bit nervous around big crowds, because that tend to when things do go off, explosions, is the terrorists do prey on big crowds. That's what they target, is big crowds. So I thought that was the only time I was worried, when it was in a big chaotic place. Like, okay, is something gonna happen? And that's the only time I really did feel like not unsafe, but just unsure. Okay, not unsafe, because unsafe and unsure are two different things. So I was unsure about certain things at certain times, but nevertheless I felt good, just getting around, navigating. So like I said, growing up in Birmingham, there's a lot of big Somali community there, so I had kind of had an understanding of the Somali way of life, to some degree. I was there with another Caucasian traveler from Germany, and he was saying to the guys there, he was like, when you guys talk, are you guys arguing? And he said to me, don't you think they're arguing? I was like, nah, I'm used to it. I have grown up around Somali culture, and Somali culture, they talk very loud. It can sound, when they're talking in their native language, it can sound like they're arguing. It can sound like they're about to have a fight. But obviously he was probably a bit worried because they were guards, police, and obviously they had their guns. So he was like, damn, I don't know if they're gonna kick off. But I was like, no, I had been prepared. I already knew what the Somali culture was like. So yeah, and another thing that kind of really just surprised me was how much, going on to my other question, was how many Somali people told me that Somalia was a failed state. They just told me Somalia is a failed state, it's this, it's that, but it didn't feel that.
Like, look at that. There's a coffee. There's a cafe by the beach. Wow. That is... Just look at that view. Whoever owned this hit the jackpot. This is one thing I was talking about when it comes to the investment. If you invest in something with a good location, good, you know what I'm saying, a good idea, something that's proven and tested, like a coffee shop, yeah, this guy hit the jackpot. Just look at the beauty of that though, man. Wow.
You know, life is still...
That's a big part of the Somali culture. And it's good to hear someone, you know, not even Somali, Ajanabi, someone that's non-Somali, going to Somalia and having a good time and putting all these myths to bed. All the myths that you hear in the media, all the myths that you hear from actual Somalis that have never been to Somalia. You ask them, how come you've not been to Somalia? Oh, there's flipping, the safety is not safe enough, it's not developed enough. That's all you hear from these people, from these Somalis that were born here. They don't even know their own culture, their own Rakan. It's good to hear someone that has no connection, no ties to Somalia and still speaking very positive about it.
People are still going about their life. So I was kind of confused. Where is this failed state? You know, we seen things, people playing in the video games, people here at bowling. Like, yeah, like everybody's here at bowling, you know. That was a very eye-opening thing to me. You know, like people are just going about their day-to-day life, which was a good thing. You know, I could get down with that. It made me feel like, okay, you know, we're in somewhere that is civilized and everybody is just getting on with their life, you know. Like, so, and another thing that really surprised me, I have to bring up, you know, a lot of people say in the West how Islamic countries,
yeah, the entertainment side of it is also developing at a huge rate as well. So
I don't agree with that, but obviously I just had to bring this up. You know, when I was in Somalia, I did not see.
So yeah, I'm just looking at the bowling alley. Look at that. You would, if you didn't know he was in Somalia, you wouldn't know what country this would be. You could have said this was in Egypt. You could have said this is in Germany, USA. You would believe it.
That's some, you know, that's very harsh, strict Islamic rules. You know, Somalia was a very Islamic country, but women voices were still heard.
I mean, they shouldn't really be talking to homeboys still, especially when they're family.
I kind of wanted to bring up, it was a surprise. Like, wow, okay, you know, I even had women come and talking to me, obviously on a friendly vibe, nothing like that. I would never disrespect, but you know, I had women come in and speak to me. Oh, where are you from? How are you finding Somalia? You know, they were there. You know, they were like, we can't talk to you. You know, not that. That was one thing I would like to just mention. That was a good thing. You know, it was a good look knowing that women's having the same right and you can hear their voices and everything around. I have to say, the people in Somalia, Mogadishu, made me feel welcome. Like, people were very hospitable. They were very hospitable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because some of the videos that I was watching, I'd always say, okay, shout out to the locals, because a lot of the tourists, they make them feel welcome. They make them, you know, they're happy, they're smiling, they're talking, they're not, you know, they come approachable. They speak the bit of the language that they can speak. They do really well in terms of you know, welcoming tourists. That's one thing you've got to respect the locals for.
The people there in Somalia were very hospitable, very, you know, welcoming. Like, okay, welcome home. You're home. You know, this is our home. We welcome you. You know, so yeah, people were very welcoming, going out of their way to make sure I was good, especially the friends I was with. You know, I can say the hospitality in Somalia was the top notch, you know. And I say I was surprised, but, you know, sometimes I have had interactions with Somalia, and sometimes I've noticed the Somalis in Birmingham can be a bit reserved. They just stick to amongst themselves, which is cool. I get that. But in Somalia, I felt that people were very welcoming. Like, made my time feel at ease. I'd have jokes, I'd laugh with people. They were good. People would see the camera,
very good to hear this.
And people would come up to me and welcome me. You know, and I had perception in my mind and seeing other videos that people didn't like cameras in Somalia. You know, they're getting a little better. Obviously, the new generation, the younger generation's coming through, and everybody's on the TikToks and the social media. So once they see a camera, they know it's a YouTuber or a vlogger. So yeah, that really kind of made me be, you know, okay, I'm being welcomed. I'm welcomed here. You know, because that's the three main things I judge a country. I judge a country by: food, the people. Like, you know, the people and food are the two main things that makes you enjoy a country or dislike a country, you know. And I definitely like food, man. The food was amazing. I've already had Somali food before, but the food is what I like, you know. I love rice, love meat, hilib, baris, basko, which is the pasta which was brought from the Italian colony. And yeah, it's just all amazing. And food is a really big thing to me. That's why I'm the size I am. I love food. So, you know, food is something that really just make my trip better. You know, I've been to countries where I just can't wait to get out of there because the food has not been amazing. But no, in Somalia, I did not find that at all. You know, there's a lot of options for food. There's a lot of things you can get in Somalia, options, burgers, pizzas. I had camel meat pizza as well. So there was a lot of things and varieties that I could have in Somalia, Mogadishu, you know. So, you know, that was one big thing that I kind of liked. And another thing that I have to mention was the entrepreneurs in Somalia. Like, Somalians are known for business, being a business-minded people, but you've seen it there. You've seen certain things, and I think that's how the progress of the country is, how the people have gone through so much, but their willpower and their resilience to want more out of Somalia was amazing. Like, you know, everybody be sitting around, and you could tell they were just, I don't know, but I was asking my friends, you could just tell it's all about business, it's all about business mindset, you know. And that's what the message of my videos and my series was kind of showing.
Now, it's good to hear this. It's good to hear this, that they're business minded, and This is what I tell to my Western viewers. If you're a Westerner, listen, man. Listen to this man. He went into the deep end. He went into the front lines. He's reporting live for you guys. He's saying there's a lot of entrepreneur, business-minded people. And what does that tell you? If there's a lot of entrepreneur, business-minded people, the location that there is, there's a lot of opportunities. That's why they're entrepreneurs. And this is why I always say, you have to save up your bread here and then find something for it. I'm telling you, this will work. This will work almost, I wouldn't say 100%, but I think this is the step that all of us need to be working towards at the very least.
Somalis in the West, that now it's time to really go back to your homeland and invest. You know, there's a lot of investments now.
Are you hearing this? I've not watched this video, and he just exactly said what I said. I'm telling you guys, this is the way forward. If you don't hear it from me, hear it from this brother who's got nothing to gain or lose from you.
Wanted to just say, yeah, man, so pretty much my time in Somalia was amazing. I definitely, inshallah, hope soon I can go back and revisit. You know, Somalia is like a second home to me. So yeah, that was just my experiences that I wanted to talk about. Let you guys know.
Brother. What's his name?
Yes, but don't forget to comment,
Brown
and subscribe.
Boy the Traveller.
Really helps the video.
Brown Boy the Traveller. And guys, I'm so glad I clicked on this video. I don't know what made me click it, but I'm so glad I clicked it. And because it gives you an idea. It gives you an idea because this brother, he's got nothing to gain. He's got no agenda to push. He's just telling you exactly his experiences, what he's seen there. And as you can hear, it's nothing but positive. It's nothing but positivity. And this, he didn't even mention anything about the oil that's been discovered. If there's opportunities, business opportunities now, imagine 2 to 5 years when the flow of oil fills the economy. A lot more opportunities, a lot more movements, a lot more money moving through the country. Imagine how much of a blessing that'll be. And guys, I'm telling you guys, man. I'm telling you guys, Somalia is the one. Make sure you like, subscribe. Do me a solid. Click the link below. It will take you to a Patreon. Join a membership. It's the price of a coffee a month. You can help the channel. I'm going to do what this brother did. Go to Somalia, get him a camera, and, front line, as they call it. Report to you from front lines. And, I appreciate everyone for watching. Until next time.